Now you may sit back and think, oh no, here comes some of that old psychobabble stuff. And I want you to recognize that this is not just some kind of psychobabble. It is a critical aspect of who we are and what we are to be and what we are to be doing. Isaiah said in the presence of God, woe is me. I am ruined. I'm a man of unclean lips, and I live among a people of unclean lips. If we think we can go into the presence of God and remain unchanged, then we never truly worship the living God. Somehow we get in this mindset that God's like a buddy, and as our buddy, he's going to go with us and do things with us, and we can slap him on the back and just invite him along for the ride with us in our lives. But I've got news for you. If you're going to encounter God, then you're going to become immediately aware of two things: how large he is and how small you are. No one casually goes into the presence of God. We have this entitlement mentality that's crippling our nation. In worship, the smallness of mankind encounters that largeness of God. And out of that comes a reality: we're not entitled to anything. It was in a business meeting once years ago, the story is told, where in a committee meeting where a church was trying to make some important decisions, and one man was not getting his way. The decision was not being going to be the way that he thought it ought to be. And so he got very angry about it. And he basically told everyone there that if they weren't going to play his way, then he wasn't going to play at all. He'd take his ball and he'd go home with it. And then an elderly man came to him, put his arm around him, and reminded him of something. Reminded him of how large God is and how small we are. And the man said, but I simply want to get my rights. I want to get my rights, what I'm entitled to as a member of this church. And the wise elderly man said to him, brother, if you get your rights, your entitlement, then what you're going to get is a trip to hell. Because that's all any of us are entitled to. That's all any of us have a right to claim. But God is gracious and God is merciful. The God who many see as far and removed from us because he's so holy and just was willing to draw us near to him in Jesus Christ. And in his presence, we see ourselves as we really are. He is so large and we are so small. In his presence comes the awareness that God doesn't need me, but I desperately need him. God is the only one that's totally sufficient. He is all sufficient. God needs nothing. He doesn't need Highland Baptist Church. He doesn't need Southern Baptist. He doesn't need you. He doesn't need me. God has no needs. He is complete as he is. But we need him. And we desperately need him. And without him, we have no hope. Without him, we have no future. The psalmist expresses it in Psalm 3, thou, O Lord, art the lifter of my head. He loves us and he lifts us. And in his presence, we develop that healthy self-awareness that he is big and we are small. He doesn't need us, but we need him. God wants you to enter into a relationship with him. But when you do so, you're not doing him a favor. He doesn't need you, but you need him. From worship comes that sense of humility and that sense of self-image that helps us to accurately and correctly measure our worth. And our worth is determined only by the love of Christ and his gift to us. We have worship so that we might nurture this healthy self-image.